Let's begin with these weather headlines. Storm pattern, we're in it. It remains in place and it will continue. It's going to continue through the course of this weekend, and that storm pattern will continue all the way through the end of next week. Now, there's some model discrepancy on next weekend. We actually could get some drying conditions, but as you know, with this summer being the evidence, it's not a flip of the switch. We don't go from storms to dry conditions immediately. We stretch it out over several days, so there's a possibility this time next weekend we should see a downtick in that storm coverage and an increase in temperatures and an increase in sunshine and drying conditions. But as such, the storm pattern, otherwise known as the North American Monsoon 2022, it's going to remain in place. Some of the hazards, though, this should not be news to you unless you're just now getting to the western slope for the very first time. Some of the hazards with these heavier downpours that we've experienced this summer have been flooding, have been lightning strikes, have been gusty winds. Now, you could also break that down into smaller categories with hail as well. So just please keep an eye on the storms. And as always, you can track on westernslope.now.com as to what's going on. But with some of the flooding issues, that can interrupt your travel on our interstates, on our highways, or even roads within a city. So again, just be weather aware, and it's our job to make sure you're doing just that. Storms will intensify next week. It's all about the position. As you've learned this summer, it's all about the position of the high pressure system. And of course, peaches. Has nothing to do with the weather. But because of Saturdays and the Fridays and the Thursday, our Peach Festival and our little spot here, Palisade, Colorado, had to share with you one of the varieties of peaches that should already be off the trees. They're the Glow Havens. But that's just one of the many varieties across the area. But I just wanted to share this picture. This is courtesy of Bluebird Organic Fruit Company. Delicious little spot up in East Orchard Mesa. So let's get back to the weather pattern because it's all about the high pressure system. Now, all this previous week, our high pressure system was hanging around the Four Corners region. We started earlier this week with that high over the Four Corners. We had that high migrate a little bit to the north, the Wyoming-Colorado border, still maintaining hot conditions. In fact, upper 90s, near 100s. We even hit 100 degrees last week for the 13th time in Grand Junction for the summer. And then the high started in the last couple of days migrating to the east a little bit. And when you get that migration to the east, all of a sudden you're catching storms on the western flank of this high pressure system. Clockwise rotation in the atmosphere, moisture still parked in Colorado, but now all of a sudden we get a new subtropical tap right into the area. So storms have been quite numerous in Nevada and in Utah, and now in Colorado, again, the western edge. So as we get into Sunday, and it's not just the midday storm genesis, and it's not just the late afternoon, early evening drift over the valley. Now all of a sudden, we're going to see these storms sustain strength through and beyond sunset. So after 8:30, we still will be looking at storms right through the midnight hour and even into early morning hours. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., not totally out of the question. Now all of a sudden on Sunday, we have a high pressure system starting to descend in latitude, getting closer and closer to that subtropical source region, the Gulf of Mexico. So that's a direct tap. And now all of a sudden, storm motion is southwest to northeast. And in addition to that, a healthy dose of monsoon rain showers. So leading through this rest of the work week and leading into this weekend, it's been just these isolated storms that pop up in the mountains and drift over. But with this new position of the high pressure system in the Red River Valley and then getting closer to the deep south, now all of a sudden we have completely widespread showers and thunderstorms. Showers and thunderstorms that look just like this. Take a look at Monday, all the way through the end of next week. Now, average high temperature for Grand Junction is in the lower 90s. And that's just where we're going to finish our weekend, in the lower 90s. So we're losing a lot of daytime heating with the added cloud coverage and with storms beginning, sustaining, and lasting a lot longer. So we'll go below average temperatures for next week. And it's not just for the Grand Junction area, it's for the entire western slope. Our temperatures will be directly affected by the amount of rain and cloud coverage. And we will continue to have the hazards of flood, lightning, and gusty winds.